it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. And today I've got protection because I'm going to just give you a sneak peek in this appalling lighting. I'm terribly sorry about that. Of the new Brushos crystal colour that we are bringing out in January. I have been waiting for Brushos for a very long time. So, I have pre-done some papers. I mean, I've been playing with the Brushos for a few days now, and I've just prepared some papers, and we'll come to those in a minute. But first of all, what do you get in your little box of Brushos? We have got 5 of the Brushos crystal colours. Moss green, which I think is probably my favourite colour. I've done a zoom on the camera, so everything's going to be a bit bigger than normal. But this, I think, is probably one of my favourite colours, and if I've got time later, I will show you why. Brilliant red, which is a fairly solid colour. The moss green is anything but. Yellow, which is not a solid colour. Gamboge, bleh, it's a sort of orangey, not solid colour. And Persian blue, which it's definitely only blue, but it has got tones within the blue. I have pierced one hole in the top, and I've got some just push pins in the top so that I can, it holds them nicely. It also gives me a visual as to which colour I'm using and which pin goes back into which pot. So I've put clear on the gamboge because I didn't have an orange. So, but you get them in this little box. You get the 5 colours. On the box it says to poke 2 or 3 holes in the lid. Personally, I would only use the one. Do not, unless you really need to, take the lid off. This is very, very, very concentrated colour. You need almost nothing. These pots will last a very long time. So, I don't know why I've spread the paper out. I have prepared 4 white cards. They're only 3.5 by 2.5 inches. We've got shimmery white, the watercolor cardstock. This is the gloss cardstock, and then ordinary whisper white. And I just stuck them onto this board. This is a board I've had for many years. It's actually an old shelf that I've used for watercolouring over the years. Not that I'm any good at watercolouring, because I'm not. So I've just stuck them down with some washi tape just so that they're kind of staying in one place. I will pull each one up as I finish it, purely because otherwise they could get, the colours could mix. So, I'm just going to, is that dry yet? Pretty close. So I have to say I did play on a piece of not our watercolour cardstock. It was actually what was on the board when I dug the board out. This is the moss green. It's got purple in it. It's not come from the Persian blue. I put the moss green down before I put down the Persian blue, and this purple just, it's just amazing. So that's the moss green, Persian blue, brilliant red, yellow, and gamboge. I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce that. And it was just on a, as I say, just on a piece of watercolour paper that was on the board when I dug my board out. So that's now resting on my floor. I have underfloor heating in my craft room, so perfect for drying Brushos. Now I have done a test of what I'm going to do now, so I can bring in the dry versions. I've also made some cards with some of the ones that I've been playing with over the last day or two. So let's get started. I am going to cover up, I'm going to start with the ordinary Whisper White. For no other reason other than that's where I'm going to start. Now can you see that? Let me push the board up a bit and let me zoom in a bit. There we go. Now, I'm only going to use 3 of the colours because it is only a small piece of card. So I'm going to use the gamboge, the yellow and the brilliant red, and I'm going to do them with the yellow, the red and the gamboge. And the first thing I need to do is, with one of our aqua painters, lay down an enormous amount of water. Now, that's going to be interesting on the Whisper White. I have got a little bit of the blue there. It was quite a surprise to me when I tried to lay down water on the Whisper White. I didn't expect this to happen. However, as you know, if you use too much water on Whisper White, it pills. If you put a lot of water on Whisper White, it basically just soaks it up. So it's almost dry now, but for the sake of comparison, this is the yellow, and it's just sitting there doing nothing. This is the gamboge, and again it's doing absolutely nothing. And this is the brilliant red, and it's all just sitting there. It's doing nothing because the water has soaked straight into the Whisper White. I've got a spritzer, which I'm actually going to have to fill up, just with some plain water in, and I'm just going to... Now it's doing a bit, but it's not doing much. I'm just going to, while that's not doing very much, fill up my spritzer with some more water. It's just sitting there, which is not what you should actually expect your Brushos to do. So let me just, you would have thought I would have made sure my bottle was full before we started this, but hey, when did I ever plan? So that's that. So let me grab some kitchen roll and just soak up the extra water and wipe away any stray crystals from the surrounding area. Ooh, that's my spritzer falling over. So that's all mopped up. I'm just going to bring in my heat tool just to make sure everything's about as dry as I can get it. Okay, so that's that. So I have to say it's sort of disappointing. I did slightly better with my original. This is how it came out, but as you can see, slightly disappointing, and you kind of think, why would I spend the money if that's all that's going to happen? So let me peel that off, and I will just pop it on the floor to dry finally. And you can see the paper is really wet. But I'm going to say pop that on the floor to dry. And let's see. So this is watercolor paper. So again, let me show you the watercolor paper. That's always helpful, isn't it? So this is watercolor paper. This is our lovely watercolor card. So again, I'm going to put down lots of water, and because it's our watercolor card, you can. So lots and lots of water. Water is your friend when it comes to Brushos. So yellow first. Then the gamboge. And you can see that is spreading. And then the brilliant red in the middle. Now, one of the things that isn't that gorgeous? One of the things that I found is that where you put the paint, the water tends to be absorbed quite dramatically into the crystals. So here on the yellow, that paper is almost feels like it's dry. If I tip the board up, I can then get some colour running, and you can play all sorts of lovely games with it. Let me just spritz that yellow, see if I can get some of those crystals to activate a bit. There we go. So really bright, really vibrant, just wonderful. This is the one I did earlier. So as you can see, and there's a crystal right in the middle there, but really vibrant. I'm just going to scoop up some of the extra water. Just so that it doesn't actually drip when I take it off the board. And just blitz it very quickly with. You can actually move the water with the heat tool. So I'm going to actually bring it out a bit to, sorry, deafen you probably. Right, that's probably dry enough, or not so wet that I can't now move it. Obviously having gloves on is great because it's keeping my hands clean. It's not so great for unpeeling this washi tape, but we will get there. Put that down to continue drying and readjust. So this is Shimmer White cardstock. So again, lay down some water, and with the shimmery white you can be reasonably generous with your water, but again it does, a bit like the Whisper White, it does soak into the paper a bit. And then I'm putting yellow at this end and gamboge at this end and brilliant red in the middle, and the spritzer, let me just move that down a bit so you can see it a bit better. And that really is beginning to move quite nicely. So that is the shimmer. Let me move those off the board and just do a bit of... Now you can come in, I'll just wipe the board down a bit, you can then come in with your aqua painter and move some of the colour around as well. And what you can also do, you need to clean your brush off when you've done that, just so you don't mix the colours. What you can also do, let me see if I've got a little scrappy bit, yes, this is actually, let's see, let's do it with shimmery white. So I've got a little scrap of shimmery white there. You can actually lay, you can pick colour up from, so you can get a different effect just by picking it up. So that's another look. So let's get rid of that, and then we will come on to, I think, my favourite. I think this is, let's save the best till last, which is the Glossy. I'll just get this off and then I'll bring in that shimmery white that I did earlier. Just wipe that off and readjust. There we go. So the shimmery white that I did before is this, and I have to say the shimmer does still show through, I really like that one. But as I say, save the best till last. Glossy white cardstock. Now I need to have these ready to go. So I'm going to take their pins out. So, again, aqua painter over the glossy white. Now the glossy white is an interesting finish with lots of liquid. I was really surprised. So let's get the yellow on. Again, it dries really quickly. So I'm going to have to come in with the spritzer. Put some more of that on. And I'm just going to cover those up because I do not want to get any water into my pots because it will start activating them. So from a height, that I'm just gobsmacked by. I think that really is showing off the Brushos to their best. I think that's just amazing. And again, you can, this is glossy white. This is particularly wonderful if you do it on polythene. In fact, let me bring in, here's a polythene bag. Let me, I'm going to pop the polythene onto the, and then, oh, you can't really see that, can you? Let's bring this down, push it across. So I'm then picking the colour up off the polythene. And it's just amazing! It actually almost dries instantly. It's staggering. And you can get some really interesting effects. So it's almost like it's marbled. It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Got a bit of fluff on there, which doesn't help. So yeah, love that. Let me just get rid of that. Let me bring in, this was actually the one I did earlier in Blue Peter fashion. But this I think is, oh, the thing is you're never going to get the same look twice. Let me just soak some of that up. Right, so cards that I've already made while that's all drying. And these are just, oh, actually let me, so this is what I mean by, you can get this wonderful marble effect on the gloss. The gloss is absolutely, for me, that's just wonderful. Anyway, so let's zoom out a bit. Oh, no, let's zoom in a bit. Let's come out again while I show you the cards. Let's just pop some of this away. So this is on watercolor paper. I did actually scratch the surface a bit, not that that's come out terribly well, but this is, so I've got the yellow and the blue, and I soaked up a lot of the extra, and then I've just used the swirly bird as a sort of sea scene. So that's that one. This is on the gloss, and I'm going to show you this effect in another video, how to get that. But again, it's on the gloss, and this is the Remarkable You stamp set, which I've stamped in rose red and Always Artichoke, and then I've used the aqua painter to spread the colour on the Always Artichoke for the leaves, and that's on rose red and powder pink. And again on the gloss and with the Remarkably You, with archival black over the top, and this is this moss green, which I think is just amazing. And then I've mounted it on crushed curry and basic black, and then on old olive. So there we go, just a quick introduction. I'm going to be playing with these quite a bit, I think. So I'm going to start getting you enthused on Brushos, so that come January the 3rd, when you can order them, you're all going to be wanting them. So a slightly different video for me. So you can't, it's not much you can actually buy yet, unless of course you want to sign up as a demonstrator and join my team now. You can, and you can order the usual £130 of product for £99, including free postage and packing. Absolutely, that is something you can do if the time is right for you. And you can order stuff from either the autumn-winter, the annual, or the spring-summer catalogue. Yes, that is something you can do. However, I will see you again very soon with some more Brusho techniques. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!